I'm Jimmy with Beal with the Gathering. I'm the one that does the social media. Tony had asked me a couple weeks back, once he hit 300, would I be willing to give my testimony, and I'm here doing it for him. And I want to start out telling a bit about myself. I've owned my own business since I was 19, going on 20, and the good Lord blessed me with it. And I was raised by a real Christian family. My father was a deacon and a Bible theologian. So I was taught a lot, but you have a tendency to walk away from it as you come from moving to live with mom and dad. And I ran from him forever, trying to run my own businesses, trying to do what I thought was Jimmy, not realizing the good Lord was involved. And the good Lord has taken and showed me differently. In 2003, I come down with a sickness where your body builds too many blood clots. And I went through a year's worth of real agony, dealing with medicines, shots, going from January 3rd, 8th of 2003 from 225 to January 10th being 488 pounds. And just having to learn to get around and have to rely on people to run your business. And at that time, I was already back in church. My kids got me in church. I was on a praise and worship team, and the first thing I wanted to do was lay in that hospital and do a pity party and say, why me, Lord? I'm doing all this for you, and why am I the one suffering? And backing up just 1 minute, my dad had told me the night that they found all the blood clots, and they told him I wouldn't be there the next day, but I had two go in my lungs and already. And he reached down, by the bed, and he took his index finger and he pointed and poked me on my shoulder. He said, son, what have you always asked for? You tell me you asked the Lord for since you've been back in church. I said, the patience of Job, because I've never had patience with people, with nothing hardly. And he poked me on that shoulder one more time. He said, let me tell you something now, son. He says, you need to ask for understanding. He says, because when you ask for patience, you don't never know how the good Lord's going to give it to you. And I have learned now that when I talk to the Lord and spend time with him, that I ask for understanding. And understanding seems to get me a lot further in life, and getting back to the health issues that I was talking on with my having that pity party. I was taken down to the lab one day, and I'd been in there like 53 days at that time. And the lady in the lab said, Mr. Beal, can I take care of this young man first? And then I will take your blood and we'll get you your shots, 11-ounce shots. And I said, sure. And when she come back over to me, the little fella, he had needles in his head and hoses hooked to him that they shouldn't be hooked to a 2-year-old. And his name was Jay. And I asked her, I said, what is wrong with him? She said, he's got stage 4 brain cancer, and says, we hoping that he'll be here another month. When she walked off, I looked up at the sky, up to that ceiling, and I promised the good Lord I would never feel sorry for myself again, and that anything I told anybody about my health condition is to let them know that maybe somebody here, that just because you're going through something now, it ain't always permanent, and the Lord can heal it and send you on your way. And I'm walking proof of it. I've been here since 2003, and January 9th, 2003, they said I'd be dead by then. And here it is, March of 2025, and I'm still around aggravating people and getting the privilege of getting to film Rick Long every Sunday. An amazing pastor. I look forward to waking up on Sundays. I prepare all my equipment on Saturdays and can't wait for Sunday morning to show up so I can be there to listen to the message. And I joke with him that I get to watch him I'm gonna watch him on the screen. I says, and I got a phone call from him. He saying, "You're not gonna be there?" I said, "No, man, I'm gonna be watching you on the screen." I said, "I watch you every Sunday through YouTube and through Facebook." I said, "Live." I said, "Plus I can look up and look at you." And the people at the gathering, Tony, I've got to know Tony since he's been there, and Chris Burkhart. It's just an amazing family at the gathering, and I've just been such an honor to be there and be part of that. And I'd met Rick when Rick was a pastor at another church, and he had done my mother's funeral, and he had left the church and went other ways to work. And I told him, I said, "Rick, if you ever start a church, I'll pull my saxophones out and I'll bring them out of retirement and play for you there at the church." And he said, "Okay." And I heard he's starting this church. And I went to a few of the practices. I was already doing the Facebook Live just to be doing it. And the good Lord kept pulling me back. And he took me out of my comfort zone of playing a saxophone to learning how to write programs for YouTube and set them up to be able to stream live. And it's been a challenge, but it's been fun. And I'm thankful for it, and I'm thankful for the times the good Lord has brought me through these health conditions. In 2012, I had to have a lot of surgeries done on my legs, and when they got done with it, this lady comes out one day and knocks on my door, and my wife at the time answers it, and she asks for me, and my wife come to me and says, "Hey, there's some young girl looking for you at the front door." And I go out there, and she takes off running and crying. I walk back in, I tell my wife, I said, "I know I'm ugly." I said, "But this girl just took off sprinting and crying." She said, "Well, could it be your daughter or something from another woman?" And no, babe, no. And to come to find out, the woman was coming in to bring in equipment that I was going to have to start living with for the rest of my life. And when she seen how young I was, she was looking for a man in his 80s. She said that normally has to have these bags that cover your feet and your legs to force all the fluids and blood back up into your upper body. And she said when she seen how young I was, it just blew her away. And she said she apologized for the crying. And so now I live on this machine 8 hours a day, but I still get to get out and see people. I get to still have what I consider a normal life. I'm thankful that I get to do what I get to do. I'm thankful for the technology that medicine has, that God has put in place. And I still feel that God could heal me to the point that I won't never even need these bags, because that did go from 12 hours a day to 8. So I'm hoping a couple more years it might even go to 6. So when you going through things, please don't always just say, "Why me?" Because it's so easy for any of us. And I'm the first used to say, "Why me, Lord?" But anymore I don't. I just say, "Thank you, Lord." And I keep going. And he has showed me a reason, because I've been on the ends of on business ends, that I was on top of the world. Now I live a normal everyday life, just thankful that I get what I do. And it's been amazing. I've come closer with God in the last 3 years than I have been in probably 15 years, because I was on the praise and worship team for another church for 17 years, and I thought I was close to God, but I've really, these last 3 years, Rick Long has helped mentor me into where I'm at. This past July 1st, I become an ordained minister. Rick asked me when he found out about it, he said, "Are you going to open your own church?" I said, "No, Rick, I don't want that job." I said, I become an ordained minister where I can go to the hospitals, I deal a lot with homeless people. And I go to the hospitals and I can go in and pray for them because I used to tell them, they're my brother. Well, they are my brother in Christ. But when they ask me, are they my relatives? No, it's not really. And so with this clergy, I don't have to do nothing. Say I'm coming in to see them and pray for them, and I can go right on in. And Rick said, "Wow," he says, "I ain't never thought about that." And I said, "Well," I've been close with the homeless forever. When I was 15 years old, I moved out from my parents' house, had a great home, and I ended up homeless. I lived for 13 months in the woods. I went to school, and I worked, and I made it. And I guess this is some of the resilience that I helped build me and put me where I got to in life, and why I have such a closeness with the homeless people, because there's a lot of good people out there that are homeless, and it's because they can't get a chance, and life throws struggles at them. And to this day, I do these what I call homeless care packages, and it's nothing much more than a quart bag, plastic baggie with some chips, some socks, soap, some cleaning process. But in them socks, I'll put $5, and I put it. And if they won't take the package, the people don't realize they're giving up $5, along with the chips and something, whatever else is in there. And this is something I try to do for them, to help them. And our church steps out and helps in so many ways. And this Care Bear package they doing for the hospitals and all, that is an awesome deal they doing. And Rick, the first year we was open, they went over into Mobile. I didn't get to go with them because of where I'm on that machine, and they do a lot of walking, and I couldn't do it. And they gave out their blankets to homeless people and helped homeless people over there. And if you don't have a church and you're looking for a church, you need to come by and check out the gathering over on Highway 98 in Lee, or watch us live on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube at the church web stream, and see what it's about. And you would be amazed at the services and how the Lord just shows up at church. And I do appreciate Tony, and how Tony and Chris have been on fire for God. I sit back and I watch them. I watch their growth. And when Chris first come in there, and Chris took over the leadership role of the praise and worship, you could see the nervousness. I've been there. I know what he was going through, and I just thank God to see how he growed from it and how he's on fire. And Tony, I don't get to read the Bible as much as I should, but I listen to him. I'll put on my AirPods, and I'll be in the shop helping my son do something, and I'm listening to Tony read the Bible. Every once in a while I look over the phone, make sure he's what he's doing there, if he's moving around or what. But I do thank God for the people in the church. I mean, we got so many great people, and to sit here and name them all, I couldn't do it, because there's that many in my mind's that short, my memory end of it. But I just want to thank Tony for giving me the opportunity to come in here and speak a little bit, and just thank God for what he's done for me in my life. And it's kept me going and gave me a great family and a great life. And if it was the end tomorrow, all I could say is it was a good one. And I'm thankful for that. Thank y'all.